I made an M off a daily fantasy. His number too high, then I'm probably fading him. He been on the road, he gon' eat up my salary. I hit up by, he gon' lie before lock. Play back to back, then I probably won't pick on the Dfs Bachelor, good as it gets. Bit a few liners and hit me a leg. He had a good game, but it might be a trick. Log in the Slack so I know who to pick. Sharing our liners, we all gon' get rich. New to this game, you should come to the pad. You might want some cash and get a good laugh. Dfs Sports, we gon' run up a bag. He heard every game and it's making me mad. You buying your lineups, I think you a cheater. Dfs Bachelor, he the new leader, yeah.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Bachelor Pad. I, of course, am your host of Dfs Bachelor, and we're going to go over our Fanduel and Draftkings Monday Night Football Showdown. We've got the Chargers at the Saints. First things first, big cheers to you all. Grab a coffee and Bailey's. I hope you all had a great weekend. We had a nice day yesterday. Some things went really, really well for us yesterday, so I hope the same for all of you as well. As usual, I appreciate all your support, your kind words, making me a part of your day, supporting my new ventures over at Sportsbook Review, all that stuff. It's truly humbling for me. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. If you're new to the channel, be sure to like the video. That helps more than you know. Hitting that like button really does help me, so I appreciate you guys doing that. Subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment in the comment section. Qualify for our $50 PayPal giveaway. Anyone qualifies for that. I'm just letting those of you who are new know how to qualify. We announce that winner every Saturday in our final look video, where my dude Donnie joins me for our final look, and that is sponsored by our friends at Tax Relief Advocates, making your tax debt disappear. $1,000, $5,000, $10,000, $100,000. It doesn't matter if the IRS is garnishing you, taking money from you, taking your tax returns, anything. Give them a call at 1-800-411-9633. They make that debt disappear faster than my 49ers playoffs hopes this year. That was an embarrassing performance. That hurt a lot yesterday. I am not going to lie, but my Lakers did win a title, so that helped spur some of that those painful feelings. But I hope you all had a great weekend. Also, don't forget to check out my friends over at Overlay DFS. A lot of fun over there. The new matchup shop is a ton of fun. Parlay your picks. They give you some point spreads with the players. They have their traditional head-to-head matchups as well. It's a lot of fun. OverlayDFS.com. Be sure to hit them up on Twitter. Ask them about your first deposit bonus at OverlayDFS. And as usual, my player pool for everything. Still got baseball going on. Of course, NFL for every slate. Cheat sheets. I do weekly rankings, weekly wide receiver cornerback matchups for you season-long players. You can use it in the lineup optimizer, mass lineup generator. Get the research you need. Snaps, touches, targets, rushes, carries, everything you need to see, rankings against opponent over here at Draft Dashboard, and my player pool. You can compare mine to yours. You can click that link in the video description below and try Draft Dashboard for 30 days for $1. So let's get into it. We're in the Dome in New Orleans. There was some talk earlier in the week about moving this game, but now it will be played in New Orleans. Of course, we hope everyone is safe and okay from the hurricane that was battering the East Coast this weekend and earlier last week. So you got Breeze and Herbert at quarterback. They're both absolutely in play. The Chargers have actually allowed the 5th most fantasy points to opposing quarterbacks so far this year, and the Saints have allowed the 7th most. So both of these teams have been very vulnerable. You've got injuries on both teams. Michael Thomas is out of this game, and it's not necessarily because of his injury. Apparently there was an practice situation where he got into a skirmish with a teammate. So as punishment, they are keeping him out of this game. Also, Marshawn Lattimore is someone to keep an eye on. He's questionable for tonight. If he is out, it makes things a lot easier for Justin Herbert and that passing game for the Chargers. You can hit me up on Twitter at DFS Bachelor. As soon as I know, I'll have it tweeted out there, so you can check me out over there. Janoris Jenkins also ruled out for the Saints, so things are going to be a little bit murky in that Saints secondary, so it's something to keep an eye on. No Jenkins. Lattimore, very iffy. Has practiced on a limited basis all week long, but I'm going to have exposure to both quarterbacks. I think right now I prefer the salary savings, just a little bit of Herbert. He's $500 cheaper on FanDuel at $14K. He's a couple hundred cheaper here. I like his rushing upside too. He's going to get some carries. You can see the last 3 weeks since he took over, nothing less than a 20. Drew Brees at home is always better at home. There's absolutely no doubt about it, and on prime time. This could be a decent scoring game tonight. I like both quarterbacks. I'll certainly have exposure to them. Remember, on DraftKings, it's very rare that a quarterback is in the MVP spot in the winning lineup. And that's simply because you get a full point per reception on DraftKings. as opposed to Fanduel, we're only a half point. And obviously, we're still waiting on Fanduel to get our scores up from yesterday. They're having a server error. I get asked this a million times. I have no clue. It's just some problem that they're having. A lot of people think I work for them or something. I don't. I wish I did. It'd be fantastic. So I don't know. I know just as much as all of you know. I just sit back and wait. It'll eventually get fixed. Things will be fine. I know it's inconvenient. It's really annoying. But it is what it is. That's FanDuel doing FanDuel things. They fucking suck. What can I tell you? That's FanDuel doing FanDuel things. But on DraftKings, you have to pay 1.5 times the salary, and you get 1.5 times the points. On FanDuel, you pay the same salary in the captain spot. So it's running backs and wide receivers, I believe, are 72% of the time, 71% of the time, somewhere around there, where they're in the captain spot in the winning lineup on those tournaments. As always, try to leave some extra salary on the table. If you're playing those tournaments and you're trying to stand out and do something different, like last night for me, it was Will Dissly. He got the touchdown. I made a ton in that single game slate because I had Will Dissly at like 600 or something, 800. I can't remember what he was. Doing something different like that, taking a chance is how you're going to win in tournaments. Obviously, if you're playing 50-50 cash games, you want to use as much salary as possible. That's absolutely fine. But in tournaments, leave 1,000 on the table if you want. I'll try to leave as much as possible where I'm still comfortable. Let's get to the running back spot. Chargers have been good against running backs, 6th in the league so far against opposing running backs. But Alvin Kamara is going to be heavily involved in the passing game, especially with Michael Thomas out. Deontay Harris is also out. Jared Cook looks like he's going to return for them tonight, which will be a big boost to that passing game for the Saints. Alvin Kamara's $12K on DraftKings, $16K on FanDuel. He's the most expensive player on the slate, as he should be. He's been an absolute monster this year. 20, 24, 38, 48, and 21. You can expect a ton of targets for Alvin Kamara. Of course, you love Alvin Kamara, and if you can fit him in the captain spot, I would urge you to do so. Josh Kelly is going to be the man taking over for the injured Austin Eckler. Austin Eckler will be out for about 6 weeks for the Chargers, maybe more. He's 8,200 on DraftKings. You're getting him at 12,000 on FanDuel. He's a rookie out of UCLA. We've seen him look good. The Saints are 15th against opposing running backs. He's going to be the lead back. So, of course, I want some exposure there. Obviously, you like Kamara a lot more, but there's a lot of salary savings there. And the two backups you're going to want exposure to for some salary savings. Latavius Murray, look, even though he's only playing 34, 35% of the snaps, still has 12 and 14 carries over the last 2 weeks. Turned that into a 21 last week. The Chargers have been good against the run. Joey Bosa has practiced on a limited basis. We'll see if he's available to go. Right now, it looks good for him. So Latavius Murray, 4,800. You're one Alvin Kamara ankle injury away from him being a top 5 running back in terms of fantasy. So you want to have some exposure to Latavius Murray. And then the number 2 guy now for the Chargers will be Justin Jackson. He's been the number 2 or 3 guy for them for a few years now. Not a ton of upside there. He's sitting there at 4,400. I think I'd prefer Murray for only the $400 difference on DraftKings there. When you're looking on FanDuel, you get Latavius Murray at 8,000 and Jackson at 7,500. So they're relatively similar. So I think I will take Latavius Murray. But I'll have, if I'm making 100 lineups, I'll have little exposure to both. Now let's get to the wide receivers. We talked about the Janoris Jenkins out for New Orleans. Marshawn Lattimore could be out. It's a big, big situation there to watch out for because Marshawn Lattimore is a fantastic shadow corner. Now, the good thing for Keenan Allen is he plays most of his snaps in the slot. When you look, he plays 46% of his offensive snaps in the slot. So he's going to see a bunch of Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, who has been the weak link in that Saints secondary. He's been targeted on 18% of his defensive routes. He's giving up 0.33 fantasy points per route ran against. The Saints have been very good against wide receivers. Make no mistake about it. 8th in the league. He's 9,400 on DraftKings. He is up here at 12.5 on FanDuel. I like Keenan Allen a lot. I think he's got great captain consideration. You can make him your captain and still fit Alvin Kamara in your lineup. So I think Keenan Allen's a nice, different sort of approach. 31 targets over the last 2 weeks. In fact, 41 targets since Justin Herbert took over the last 3 weeks is absolutely incredible. I like Keenan Allen quite a bit. And then it gets ugly for the Saints and just receivers in general. You got Traquan Smith is at 7K. Traquan Smith, I know he had a decent game last week, 4 targets, turned it into a 21. He's had a couple of good games, no doubt about it. But he's got zeros written all over him. That Charger secondary, they got torched last week by Brady in the second half, no doubt about it. And they are missing their slot corner, Chris Harris Jr. But Desmond King's a terrific slot corner. That's where Traquan Smith likes to line up. He's kind of all over the place. All those Saints receivers kind of evenly spread out throughout the game. There's not just one slot guy. So you've got guys like Desmond King giving up .19 fantasy points per route ran against. Casey Hayward, a terrific corner on the outside, is going to see a lot of Emmanuel Sanders, who's sitting there at 5,600, giving up .31. And then you got Michael Davis on the other side giving up .29. Traquan Smith is more expensive than Emmanuel Sanders on DraftKings. That's an easy decision for me. I'll take Emmanuel Sanders. I don't trust Traquan Smith. I never have. I never will. If he goes off tonight and I lose, I will accept it. I'm not going to have much of Traquan Smith. I just don't trust him. I don't think he's a very good player. I'd rather get the $1,400 savings for Emmanuel Sanders. On Fanduel, however, Sanders is $500 more. That makes a whole lot more sense. So you can see you're getting much better value out of Emmanuel Sanders on DraftKings than you are on Fanduel compared to Traquan Smith. Mike Williams, limited all week. He's limited every week. He's played 80% of the snaps, but he still just doesn't get a ton of targets. Now, he's got red zone upside. He's not going to be very popular. He'll be lower owned. He's sitting there at 5K on DraftKings, 8K on FanDuel. Not a ton of love from Mike Williams, but if you're looking for one of these guys, like, hey, no one's going to have him if he pulls in a couple of red zone touchdowns where they like to go to him. As long as he's active, I'll have some tournament exposure there. Then some sleeper type guys. For the Chargers, you're going to see guys like, especially if Mike Williams is limited, Jalen Guyton and Tyron Johnson. Tyron Johnson had one big play, turned it into a touchdown, still played 60% of the offensive snaps. Jalen Guyton is playing 69% of the offensive snaps. When you look at those corners we kind of talked about it. Lattimore, if he plays, is very good. Patrick Robinson on the other side, but if Lattimore's out, then it gets a whole lot easier. Of course, no Janoris Jenkins. Then I've been sort of looking down here like, is there anyone in this 200, 400 range? I didn't see much. Marquez Callaway with Michael Thomas out could see a little bit. He saw a target last week at 600, but again, you're getting real desperate there. Just not a whole lot to love in that range. When we get to the tight end position, we talked about Jared Cook. He should be back. It looks like he'll be back. He's sitting there at 6,200 on DraftKings. The Chargers are 23rd so far against opposing tight ends. And then look at Hunter Henry at 7,800 on DraftKings, 9,500 on FanDuel. The Saints, through 4 weeks, have allowed the second most fantasy points in the league to opposing tight ends. He's been targeted 18 times over the last 3 weeks by Justin Herbert. I like Hunter Henry quite a bit. Some sneaky captain upside there as well. And then if you're looking for a guy, under 2,000 here, Taysom Hill. He's 1,600 on DraftKings. Now, he's a quarterback. We all know that. That's why you see the 28 ranking there. But oftentimes, this is one reason I like Herbert more than Breeze. In the red zone, they will bring Taysom Hill in for these little gimmick plays where it's a read option, RPO type play with Kamara or Murray. And then Taysom Hill can run it in. So he's got some touchdown upside. Look, he's not going to see the field a ton, about 25% of the snaps. But with Michael Thomas out, you could see him at wide receiver a little bit more. So he's sitting there at 1,600 on DraftKings. Looking for a tournament flyer, I don't mind that. And in the red zone, the XFL man, Donald Parham, 1,200. You saw he played one snap last week. Came in the red zone. This dude is 6'8". He's bigger than everyone on the field. So you could throw it up to Donald Parham and he can catch a touchdown. Again, he played one snap, one target. Boom, it was a touchdown. He's sitting there at 1,200 if you want to take a deep flyer on that. If Jared Cook indeed sits out, guys like Josh Hill and Adam Troutman will see the field more. Doesn't mean they'll be targeted more. It just means they'll be on the field. But if Jared Cook were to miss, I'd like Taysom Hill even more. So it's someone to keep an eye on in tournaments. What is he sitting at over here on FanDuel? 6,500 on FanDuel. It's more of a DraftKings deep sleeper, so you can pay up for everybody. He's got some upside there. It's a high-risk, high-reward play. He could easily go out and get a 1 or a 2. That's what he's done all year long. But also in week 1, don't forget, he had an 18, right? So, he had a 5 in week 1. It was the end of last year when he had the 18. But, he had a 5 in week 1. If you get a 5 or a 6 or a 7, makes a couple catches out of the tight end spot, which they like to do, or gets in the end zone at 1,600, you're absolutely fine with that. Let's go talk about the damn kickers again, shall we? So both kickers are in play. And both teams have actually given up fantasy points to kickers. Chargers have given up the second most fantasy points to kickers, and the Saints the 10th most. So these are two offenses that can move the ball. Without Michael Thomas, you could see the Saints struggle in the red zone, even though they're at home, which means Will Lutz can come out there and look. 9-5-9 for Badgley, 6-13-5 for Will Lutz. 4,000 and 3,800, like that could be, if you're, let's say you're paying 4,800 for Latavius Murray, he gets a 6. Will Lutz comes out, kicks 2 40-yard field goals. That's an 8, maybe a couple extra points. That's a 10. Like, I got some lineups with both kickers. I hate that the fucking kickers are part of the slate. I absolutely hate it. But it is what it is, and there they are, and both kickers have some upside, so I'm going to have exposure to both kickers. Of course, on FanDuel, they're their customary, 99,000 for Will Lutz and 8,500 for Badgley. It's pretty typical. I actually don't mind that 9,000 for Will Lutz. Will Lutz is a high-scoring kicker. I like both kickers in this slate. And defensively, I'm nervous. Look, you got a total of 50. Some books have it at 50.5 and 51. It's a high total. What you're looking for, I would probably I think the Chargers defense is better, especially if Lattimore is out for the Saints. But, rookie quarterback on the road, first Monday night football game against the Saints. It's a little interesting. We know the history of Drew Brees with the Chargers. Used to play there. Then he hurt his shoulder. They chose Phillip Rivers. Then there was that big debate. Who will the Dolphins take, Dante Culpepper or Drew Brees? They took Culpepper. Brees went to the Saints, and the rest is history. Many of you probably don't even know who Dante Culpepper is anymore, right? Some of you younger folks probably don't even remember him. So I have some slight interest in the defenses because they're cheap. There's always that sort of, pick six upside. The Chargers have a good secondary. I'm not jamming them in. And be forewarned, there you go, title of the sex tape. Be forewarned, at the beginning of the tournament, you're going to see, why am I way behind and all these people are up top? Because there's going to be plenty of those morons who put the defense at the captain spot just so they can see themselves in first place for 5 minutes, and as soon as the points start going up, they will drop. Do not put the defenses in the captain spot. It's a dumb strategy. I know it's exciting to see yourself in first for 5 minutes, but it's very, very, very rare that would be the optimal lineup. So that's our look at Monday Night Football. Again, we'll have a video for tomorrow's Tuesday night game, as long as that plays, the Bills and the Titans. If you want access to my entire player pool throughout the day as it may change, for baseball as well, cheat sheet, etc., click the link in the video description below. You can try Draft Dashboard for 30 days for $1. When you do, how you find my player pool is you simply click the Watch Players tab over here on the left, or from the sub menu here at the top. Pick which site you want to play on. There's FanDuel here, Draftkings here. You could do both. Then you click the blue box that says Watch DFS Bachelor's Picks. It'll also timestamp the last time I have updated them in Eastern time, so if an injury news comes out and you look and, oh, he hasn't updated it yet, maybe I'm in the shower, maybe I'm busy. There are times when I'm not 100% into football. It's not very often. So there's that. Then you can go to the lineup optimizer. You can use my player pool. You can compare my player pool to yours, etc. You can go to the mass lineup generator up here, generate 150 lineups if you so desire. If you do make some lineups and a guy gets scratched late, you can download those lineups from FanDuel DraftKings, re-upload them in the draft dashboard, and use this late swap optimizer, get that player out, and re-upload them in. So that's a nice feature there as well. So let's start here on DraftKings. We'll make a sample lineup. I like Keenan Allen in the captain spot. If I'm going to have Keenan Allen in the captain spot, I want his quarterback, Justin Herbert. I obviously want Alvin Kamara any way, shape, or form. So now we need to save $1,500. So now we got to get jiggy with it. It's got Tyron Johnson in there. So I might do something where I just go down and get myself a kicker. Right here, Will Lutz, boom. Now we got 100 left on the table. If you don't want to go with the Johnson play, who's a little bit risky, there's Taysom Hill right here as well. Something like that I think is good for tournaments. I do not mind that at all. Leaves 300 on the table. Again, just a sample. I'm not saying lock this in, but I think it is a decent tournament lineup there. And let's go over to FanDuel. Be sure when you switch sites, you go over, and right now it's in the classic for the multiple game slates. We'll click on single game. Let's go to the single game, and we got the Monday Night Football slate. And then you click on that, and then you can make, your... Look, if I would click it right, we'll make a FanDuel lineup, if I can get it right. I'm always bad at clicking this on here. There we go. So you can put quarterbacks in the captain spot here because you're not paying the extra salary. So, here on FanDuel, why not just get Alvin Kamara in the captain spot, right? So let's pop Kamara in there. Let's see. Ooh, Draco and Smith. Get the hell out of here. Joshua Kelly. Let's see if we can get Drew Brees in here. We'll have to save some salary somewhere. We need to save $2,500, so we've got to come down here and take a a higher risk player. Tyron Johnson, Jalen Guyton. There's Justin Jackson, the backup running back there. We could do something like that. Yeah, I don't think that's bad at all. Of course, you could go down to Herbert and save a little bit. Then you can upgrade Jackson to a Latavius Murray. I think that's a solid lineup as well. Again, click the link. Try it for 30 days for $1. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel. A big thanks to all of you. May the fantasy gods be with you tonight. Cheers. Good luck. You can catch me live tonight, 3 hours long for the entire game. I don't know what just happened there. For 3 hours over at Sportsbook Review. I do have a link in the video description to that channel. Myself, Donnie Rightside, Kelsey Kramer's going to be joining us tonight. We stay like Flash Watson. We stay live for the entire Monday Night Football game, giving you live betting odds, picks, props, etc. So be sure to check that out over there. Come have a drink with me. Again, appreciate you all so much. Good luck tonight. Goodbye, folks.